Good morning, and welcome to the morning report. My name is Willie Lawson. The morning report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. Glad you are here with us today. It is a chilly day. Now I know you people up north are going to go, going to roll your eyes. Well, right now it's 63 degrees in West Central Florida. It got down to the mid 50s last night, and this is deep winter for us. I know. My friend Paul posted on his Instagram page some snow on Halloween a couple days ago. Snow, yeah. There's no snow coming here for sure, but it did get in the 50s last night. And for this part of the planet, if you guys remember any of your eighth grade earth science or ninth grade earth science, it's pretty chilly for this part of the planet. Happens though. Somehow we are going to persevere. Oh, funny story. The fan my wife sleeps under, when it's 55 degrees outside, it stayed on, and the AC is still on. The AC is not turned off. Just saying. Just saying. Welcome to Florida. All right. Last night, the House took up a series of votes to censure Representative Rashid Tlaib and Marjorie Greene Taylor. Greene had filed a resolution last week against Tlaib for anti-Semitic comments, as well as her encouraging pro-Hamas activists to storm the Cannon House building, and we saw that on the end of the show from yesterday. You saw that video. While the resolution against Greene was from 3 months earlier, filed by freshman Becca Blint, a Democrat from Vermont. Okay, so now we warned you about this. We warned you about this when the Democrats thought that the way to handle Trump every time they got mad at him for something that he hadn't done wrong was to impeach him. Was to bring up articles of impeachment. Hell, they wanted to bring up articles of impeachment against Trump when he came down the escalator before he was president. They even brought up articles of impeachment against Trump after he wasn't president anymore. So these tools that were meant that were meant to be used in egregious cases are now being used as political tools, sort of a tit for tat thing. And it is not how governments, especially at the federal level, is supposed to work. Ultimately, the resolution to censure Tlaib was killed when the motion was tabled, and Blint's resolution was withdrawn as well. So these people are out there doing this sort of tit for tat nonsense, which is stupid, which again politicizes something that's supposed to be very, very serious. And it doesn't get better for Republicans. I'll let somebody else talk about the Democrats. It doesn't get better for Republicans because Marjorie Greene Taylor is pissed because there was a resolution put up, against her too, and 23 Republicans voted to table the resolution against Tlaib because they wanted it to end. And amongst those are Ken Buck, Issa, who else? Massey, McClintock, McCormick, names Chip Roy. They just wanted it to end because and of course there are people who didn't vote. Mike Johnson, Speaker, didn't vote. All my guys voted. Pete Sessions didn't vote. All my Republicans in Florida voted not to table it and to go ahead and go forward with the censure of Tlaib. But anyway, Greene, in sharing a roll call from her official X account, referred to many Republicans voting to table the motion as quote, pathetic, end quote. She also included a list of 13 Republicans who did not vote. Initially, Derek Van Orden, a Republican from Wisconsin, was counted amongst those who voted to table a motion, but he ended up releasing a statement over his official X account indicating that he inadvertently did so. Well, were you not paying attention, Derek? So his vote was changed. It was not enough to change the ultimate outcome, though, and I'm sure he knew that. Van Orden's post pointed out that Tlaib is vocally supportive of the terrorist organization Hamas, and also added that I changed my vote to reflect that I do not support anti-Semites anywhere, especially in Congress. And Marjorie Greene Taylor actually posted that too on her X account. The votes from at least some of the members did not come as a total surprise. However, some members expressed concern about Tlaib's supposed free speech rights, as Republican Tim Walberg, a fellow Michigander, indicated leading up to and after his vote. Now, I've told you this, and I'm going to tell you again before I do, though, because I got to make sure you guys get it. I think Rashid Tlaib should resign from Congress because she is not worthy to be in such a great institution based on her behavior and her lack of gratitude for what this country has given her, provided for her. All the things she says she hates, she's been able to do here as a refugee. Let's get started. Let's start there. However, your free speech rights don't end when you join Congress. And free speech is for what? I'm going to say it again. Speech you don't like. Free speech is for speech that you don't like. I've told this to people on the left 1,000 times. Free speech is for speech you don't like. It's not for things you agree with. It's for the stuff that you don't like. It's for the stuff that rubs you the wrong way. That's what free speech is all about. That's what the concept of free speech is about. Others expressed concern going forward with using such a serious process as censuring a member. That's what I said. It's worth reminding, though, that several members of Congress on both sides of the aisle have been censured in recent sessions of Congress, including Representative Paul Gosar, Republican from Arizona, being censured in the 117th Congress under Democrat control, and Representative Adam Schiff being censured back in June. And that's the problem. That's all they're going to be doing, taking this thing that's supposed to be very, very serious and using it as a political tool. Impeachment, the most serious thing, using it as a political tool. And it should not be that way. Now, use whatever voice you have to call out Representative Tlaib for anti-Semitic remarks and the repeating of falsehoods against Israel. That's fine. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. And support those of us out here who will continue to do that. Where you make a mistake, you're happy to go on CNN. You're happy to go on MSNBC or Fox. But out here, absent. Almost all of you. That's my co-host, T.C. Beltobines, agreeing with me. So when it comes to Tlaib's actions that led to Green's filing motion, her censure in the first place, Tlaib's anti-Semitic remarks don't just have to do with recent days following the October 17th attack. Of course not. She's been anti-Israel. She's anti-Semitic from Jump Street. We know that. We know that. And here's the hard part. So do the people in her district who sent her. And censure just means that the house or the body is wagging their finger strongly. That's CC Bell toe beans agreeing with me again. Yeah, exactly. So this idea of that it would do anything to censure someone, so what? Doesn't affect their paycheck. Doesn't affect if they have committee assignments. Only the speaker could pull their speaker assignment. I mean their committee assignments. So Tlaib did not share a statement on her X account in the hours or days that followed. The statement she provided was sharing a Detroit-based outlet. She was tight-lipped with the press when it comes to speaking to the horrific acts that Israelis were subject to, including babies being beheaded. The Congresswoman also reported a false narrative to her political X account on October 17th that Israel had bombed a hospital in Gaza. And what we know is, because we talked about it here, is that a Hamas rocket malfunctioned and dropped serious ordnance on that hospital. He repeated that narrative as part of her hysterical remarks outside the Capitol on October 18th, with pro-Hamas activists storming the Cannon Building. And you saw that video in our last program from yesterday. You can go back to that, please, and check that out. Those remarks were enough to earn condemnation from both sides of the aisle in both chambers. Awful. I mean, she even got truth checked on X. Now, it was over a week later, on October 25th, that Tlaib subsequently acknowledged in a reply to that post, after having previously tripled down on the false narrative, that the intelligence indicated otherwise. She finally had to back off. But when they do that, the damage has been done. And they have let their constituency know where they stand. The resolution was not merely going to censure Tlaib, but also, as the last line read, would indicate that the House of Representatives condemns support for terrorist organizations. They can still do that. Listen to that line. They can still do that, because that line I just said is going to measure in a huge way in the next story I tell you about Coach Tuberville. So the House overwhelmingly voted against meeting the 2/3 threshold required to expel George Santos. Now, George Santos, Republican from New York, that dude is a hot mess. That dude is a hot mess. Apparently, his entire life story is fabricated. The whole thing is fabricated. He is a big he is a big walking, talking lie. And the people who were trying to get him tossed out were Republicans from New York, not necessarily Democrats from New York, but Republicans from New York. And the House still didn't do it because it is such a serious thing. Even this guy, who we all know is a walking, talking piece of crap, now it's up to, again, now it's up to the citizens, the constituency in his district in New York, if he decides to run again after being exposed. Now, sociopaths will do it again. If he's a sociopath that I think he is, he's probably cranking up his reelection campaign right now. Anyway, yeah, 179 to 213. House overwhelmingly rejects the measure to expel George Santos. a lot of members said they wanted to wait until the House Ethics Committee announces its findings on November 17th. Santos hailed the vote as a victory for due process. Okay. He should resign. Yeah, I'm very aware of the thin margin. We've been talking about that for weeks of Republicans to Democrats in the House, but he should resign. He should resign. All right. When we get back, we're going to talk about Chucky Schumer caving to Coach Tuberville on military nominations. You probably heard a little bit about that. We're going to do not a deep dive, but we're going to get down in the water a little bit. We're going to get our neck covered, not all the way under. We're going to get our neck covered a little bit. Talk to you a little bit about that right after these messages.
What's going on, Tampa? Jeff Dow from JD's Pressure Washing here again, and we wanted to share something really cool with you that we're going to be doing that you can be a part of. Tampa is home to 21,000 veterans. We all love our vets, and being one myself, we wanted to find a way that we could give back. So here's what we're going to do. For every 10 jobs that we do that are $300 or more, we're going to do one veteran home for free. Now, when I say home, we're talking house wash, driveway, sidewalks, and perimeter fence if they have one. So I need your help with exposure on this so that we can get the jobs that we need as well as the veteran homes to clean, which is going to be a total surprise for them. We're going to show up, knock on the door, and let them know right then and there in the moment what it is that we're going to be doing for them. It is going to be pretty cool. And here's a bonus offer for all of you who help us with this. We're also going to offer 15% off all cleaning that's over $300 just to say thanks. So if you could do me a huge favor, like, comment, and share this video so that we can get the word out and start cleaning homes of veterans right here in Tampa.
All right. Please text or call Jeff if you live in the Tampa Bay area. Now, the Tampa Bay area is Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, Polk, Manatee counties, maybe even a little bit of Hernando, which is just north of Pasco, to see if he can help you out. It's about to get cold, and you don't want to be out there pressure washing your sidewalk or your house by yourself. Now, the thing is, the cool thing is that it's getting cold, and it's also the dry season. Well, this is the season that a lot of us will paint our homes, and we got to get the. If you're like me, if you're like me, we've been in this house since 1999. It's not been painted or pressure washed one time, so we need to get that done for sure. And because we have trees, the driveway and the sidewalks definitely need pressure washing. So actually, we're going to have Jeff come over next month and do the sidewalks and do the driveways and have a short interview with him about what he's doing and who he is. He's been on the program before. Jeff's a good guy, solid individual. Anyway, so you have the number. Go ahead and call or text. Get an estimate. Estimate is free. And he'll get back with you actually sooner than you are nearly ready for, and see if we can get this done for some veterans here in the Tampa Bay area. All right. Speaking of veterans in the Tampa Bay area, there's been this ongoing battle between Coach Tuberville, and I call him. His name is Tommy Tuberville. I think he was a coach of Auburn or Alabama for a minute. You don't want to mess that up, but for a minute, or Arkansas, one of the A schools in the SEC, and he is in his committee assignment. He is holding up military promotions and nominations in response to the Pentagon's abortion policy. Under the policy, which violates U.S. Code 10, Section 1093, service members and their dependents can receive paid time off for abortions. Travel expenses are covered if the abortion takes place in another state, and there is no gestional limit, either from conception to birth. No limitations. Earlier Tuesday, Tuberville had obtained 16 signatures on a cloture petition for the nomination of General Christopher Mahoney to be Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps. Tuberville had asked for 4 votes in September in order to confirm General Eric Smith as the next Commandant of the Marine Corps, as well as Charles C.Q. Brown as the next chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, and Randy George to become the Chief of Staff of the Army. The announcement from Tuberville's office came in a Wednesday press release, and the senator also took to his political X account to call out those who still confuse the narrative. Just as a whole bunch of news sites did in light of the first round of individual floor votes in September, Fox News' Jennifer Griffin sharing a conflicting headline on what he's actually doing. Posting a military.com article with the headline, Marine Commandant Remains Hospitalized as Senate Moves to Lift Blockade on Service's Second in Command. Now, the narrative is that Tuberville is holding up all of these promotions. He's not. The House could have taken any of these and voted on them all along. They could already do that. What he was doing is simply saying that we're not going to just promote them all in mass. So yes, they were going to have to go through each one. Why? Because he wasn't going to participate because of the Pentagon's position on abortion. That's what he was doing. As the senator himself pointed out, though, it's not the case. My hold on unanimous consent is on unanimous consent, and that's what his hold was. It's this sort of, okay, the rubber stamp, we all agree. Not the individuals. They can be voted on one at a time, just like always. Tuberville's post read in part, Chuck Schumer could have been calling these noms since February. He refused. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, could have been calling these nominations since February. But he was using it as a political tool for abortion against Tuberville. Tuberville tweets or puts in his X account, 9 months in, and the quote, journalists reporting on this have zero understanding of what's happening. My hold is on unanimous consent, not the individuals. They can be voted on one at a time, just like always. Schumer could have been calling these nominees up since February. Since February. He's refused. He could have. But they weren't. These individual floor votes are what Tuberville and others have been pointing to all along when it comes to something Schumer could have done on his own. As his party controls the chamber, Tuberville has objected to letting nominations and promotions sail through with unanimous consent. This news comes less than a week after reports revealed that Democrats plan to use a rule change to force votes through by the next day. Reports also indicate the plan looked to fail, especially since Republican support was needed. Republicans from all sides of the conference continue to appear to be opposed to such plans because there isn't any reason for it under the plan. If there's a nomination, Schumer could bring it to the floor of the Senate and they could vote. Bring it to the floor and vote. Chuck Schumer. You piece of crap. Tuberville and his staff have called on the Biden administration to negotiate, though President Biden has indicated months ago he has no interest in doing so. His administration instead prefers to spend their energy calling Tuberville to be the one to negotiate, give in, which includes urging Republicans to get to their colleague to do so. When speaking on CNN, Manu Raju about the Democrats' proposal, Tuberville said the rule change is quote typical of this place, adding this administration would rather burn the Senate down, and that's what would happen. He warned that if you change the rules of the Senate, then it lasts forever. Again, emphasizing, so you would rather burn down the Senate than negotiate. Tuberville has a significant report from Republicans, not just in the Senate, but in the House as well. Grassroots leaders, veterans also support Tuberville's actions, sticking with the rule of law and the right to life, with his holes as Alabama voters. This vote on Mahoney, Franchetti, and Alvin could take place later on, yesterday or today. So the idea is they just wanted their cake and eat it too, and they want Tuberville to stop talking about abortion. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. We want to win. No, they could have just voted on all these people all along. They're trying to use anything to damage Republicans they can. And they could have just gone around them. Schumer could have brought people to the floor, voted for him. These positions would have been filled. Or not. We need prayer, folks. We need prayer and lots of it right now. All right, we got to get out of here and make room for someone else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.